Hey, it's Mike here to show you how to combine multiple lists of data into one. I like to call it one sheet to rule them all for Tolkien fans. So what happens sometimes is you have your master list of students that, you maybe someone handed it to you or you did some sort of a query and you got a lot of the things you need to know about the students, but sometimes data about certain student groups will come in a separate list. Like we have a separate query to find out who our foster youth are. And what I want is to get my foster youth list combined into my master list here. So then I can disaggregate and see how my foster youth are being served compared to the general population at my school. Sometimes I'll have a group or a club or something, and I want to have that data like meshed in with this master list too. So we can do that. Hang on for the ride. Here we go. The first thing you want to do is make a new sheet in your master sheet. And you do that by pressing plus at the bottom left corner here, add sheet. And then I want to rename that foster. So you can click on that little down arrow and rename. And this is where we're going to put in some foster youth data. But I'm going to copy and paste it from this other document called sample foster youth. And I just select all the files, all of the cells that I care about. Sometimes this foster youth column will be like a program code or something that indicates foster youth. I'm just using Y's to indicate that all these students are foster youth. So then I'm going to copy that. You can do right click, copy. I like using Command C better, or Control C if you're on a PC. And then we should be able to go back to sample fictional student data and paste that. So now we have the foster youth data in a sheet, but that's still not what I want. I want it merged in with this master list so that I can actually like disaggregate, use average if. That's a separate little mini lesson if you want to check that out. So I'm going to make a new column here for me to merge that data in and call it foster. Now, here's the formula to bring in the foster youth data into this master list. It's called vertical lookup. So again, you always type an equals sign for your first um, for your formula, and then it's called VLOOKUP. And the parentheses, we're going to search for uh, a certain thing, and it's going to be the student ID. We want to search for and see if this student ID pops up in that foster youth list, and that's how it's going to match. So first we're telling it what to look up. Now we're going to tell it where to look it up after that first comma. So we're going to tell it, okay, look for that student ID in this foster tab, and we want it to look all the way across these A, B, C, D, all the way over to the foster youth label. It's going to look through all of those columns for that student ID number, comma. And now we're going to tell it, okay, pull over the data that's X columns away from the matching data. So if you see that student ID number, I want you to give me the data that is X columns away from it. So if we want to bring in column G, we got to tell it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 columns away. So we're going to type the number 7. And for some unknown reason, you type the word false as your last item. And again, a comma between all of those things. And then you hit enter, and you see that this student was on that foster list, so they have a Y, just like they have a Y over here. So you magically sucked out this Y from the other list, plopped it in here. Now what's lovely is you don't have to do that over and over again. I'll do it again just to show you. If you had to do it over and over again, you would have to type VLOOKUP and then what you're looking for, student ID, comma, click to the list where you're going to look for that student ID, and that student ID needs to be always in the leftmost column, so always select where they're going to find that student ID in the leftmost column. and then select all the way over to the column that you want to grab the data from. In this case, just that Y or nothing. If they find it, they're going to give you a Y. If they don't find it, they're going to give you an NA. And then as you're doing that, you can be counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, comma, and since you want what's 7 columns over from the student ID, you type a 7, comma, and for some strange reason, the word false. And since Kieran Barton was not on the foster youth list, then you're going to get an NA, which is correct in this case. The beauty is you don't have to do that over and over again. There's a couple different ways that you could copy and paste this to the rest. Sometimes you can just double click that little thing and it will paste, but it doesn't always work. So if you just copy this cell and then you select all the cells that you also want to bring in the foster youth Y or program code, and then you paste, you're going to have that work for every single student on that list. And that is how you make one sheet out of two. Suck data from one sheet into your master list using VLOOKUP. It's a little complicated. Play with it. Expect yourself to mess up a little bit in the process, but I think you're going to have a lot of fun seeing that you don't have to cross-check lists anymore, and you can bring in other types of things, maybe interventions, maybe clubs, um, honor societies, and that way you start having this beautiful cross-referenced list of data of needs as well as supports for all your students. All right, have fun with that. Be patient with yourself. Hang in there.